But if you do anything that is not kosher to what leadership thinks, you get put on probation. Anyway, I was trying to protect this other person and myself and told her the bare minimum. And she was like, okay, well, I'm going to get Josh to talk to this other person. Well, when Josh sat down with this other person, I don't know what was said. All I know is that it was horrible enough for them to kick me out of their house. They put their kids behind them to protect them from me, and said that my soul was sick and that I was sick and I was selfish for being around them with my soul being so sick, and that I could have spread it to their children.
This is Josh and Laci saying this.
Yeah, Josh and Laci saying that. Those are my cousins, and they kicked me out of their house, and I'd never felt so horrible in my life, because you feel like you are just, And this other person, I still have no idea what they said, but I never got to tell them my side of the story or what happened or whatever. I already wasn't liked very much, but now there was just like this even more. So it was like the view of me was now just like trashed, because now I was looked at with whatever this person had said. Now that was added on to the view that they already had of me. And Laci had pulled all the guy interns aside. And for some reason, and I have no idea, and this is not who I am, it's not who I've ever been, but she pulled all the guys aside and told them to steer clear of me because I was like on the prowl. And I just was like, I just went through a really, really bad breakup. I don't want to even think about men for the next 20 years of my life. So I don't know why. And there's a lot more that goes into that of what was said to the guys about me, but I won't say it on here. Stuff just makes you feel horrible. And now it's like nobody needed to know. It's a private thing between me and a person I was in a relationship with. Nobody needs to know anything, but now they're essentially telling the entire team, like, steer clear. Now everybody's wondering what's wrong with her. You already feel horrible, and now you feel even more worthless because you're just like humiliated and publicly put out to dry. That's kind of what happened. So I was put on probation, and so was this other person, and we were helping the road team load their stuff to go on the road.
You at this time were the drama director for the road team.
Yeah.
But your probation consisted of you could no longer go with the road team and had to stay at home.
Yeah. So when you're on probation, you cannot leave the ranch. You can't be a part of any ministry events, anything like that. You are just kind of put in like isolation, which is the last thing anybody should be if they're dealing with anything. And I wasn't dealing with anything. It was just something that had happened. Then you're put in isolation anyway. And I remember this person, me and the person that I had been dating, it was like 2 weeks after we got put on probation and everything. And me and him were helping, not like together, but like with the home team, we're helping send off the road team. Right as they were leaving, he hopped in the road team van and left with them. And I remember all the leaders looking at me and they're like, Randi, like, don't be offended. Don't be offended that he got to go and he's ready to go back on the road and you're not. Don't let that make you bitter and stuff like that. And I was so furious because they clearly did not know my side of things, which, like I said, doesn't need to be expounded on at all. It's all done and it's over and everything. But it was all very one-sided. I did struggle a lot. I was very angry when they went back on the road because we did go through a lot, and then them telling me like, don't be offended. And it was like, it made no sense that it was like he got off scotch-free, but I was on probation. Anyway, when I got put on probation, I was told that I was not allowed to talk to my brother. They said, we don't want you talking to your brother about any of this.
Did that make sense to you at that time?
No, because my brother's my best friend, but also we didn't talk a whole lot because he was gone like 24/7 because he was a personal assistant for Josh Bredahl. Him and his wife were gone 24/7, but it didn't make any sense to me. And they encouraged me that I don't talk to your brother about it. Don't talk to your mom about it.
This is your first breakup. And they're saying, don't talk to the people closest to you about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was encouraged not to talk to my mom, and I wasn't allowed to talk to my brother. And then it was like, we don't want you hanging around with the interns, because it was kind of basically like, we don't want them to get what you have. Basically, they were saying that my soul was sick and I was full of sin and stuff like that. And they also said I was not part of leadership anymore. So I was not allowed to hang out with the leaders. Laci said I needed to go get things right with God. So essentially, it was just me and God for like 3 months. And I know the 3 months is not as long as some people were on probation for like a whole year. But my probation was very intense in the sense of I wasn't allowed to hang out with people. I was isolated. I wasn't allowed to talk to my mom, who was on the ranch. I had to be very short with her. And my dad had just died. So I'm dealing with all that. I have not grieved him yet. That situation hasn't been dealt with. And then I go through this horrible breakup. And then I get kicked out of Josh and Lacey's house and all this stuff. And then let's pull the guys in and let's do that too. Now the whole team knows. And then it's like, you're isolated. I was like, I don't know what to do, but I guess just move forward. So every day I woke up and I was like, okay, God, what needs to be changed? Like, help me grow, you know? But it very fast got very dark. I didn't want to live. I just thought it would be better to just go to heaven and be with my dad than be here anymore. I thought about it every day. If I just ended it, then I would just not have to feel this, because I just felt this. You're sick to your stomach. I didn't eat very much. And the sad thing is that I have family 40 minutes away who, in a heartbeat, if they knew what was going on, would have come so fast and packed me up and marched me out of there. But they had no idea. And I was too afraid to say anything. That was the fear that was so instilled. I was more afraid of what Laci would do, or what would happen, or the repercussions of what would happen if I just left, than me staying there and just suffering. And so that's kind of like what probation was like for me. And there was a leader who was there, a home team leader. And she, when the road team was gone, she would be like, Randi, why don't you just go take a drive? Because she could tell I was very like, I had like dark circles. I was like really skinny, like unhealthily, like not eating, kind of skinny, just in a really, really, really bad shape. I was so depressed. I couldn't get out of bed. I would like not even fix my hair or anything. And I would come to like morning prayer, because it just was like, what is my life? And so she'd be like, why don't you just go take a drive? And so I would go to my family's house 40 minutes away, and they never knew what I was going through, but I was just nice to be there. They know about it now, and I cried a lot when I told them, because I would if I had a family member that was going through stuff and they didn't tell me, because we're all very close, Anyway, but I do know on the other side of things, talking to my brother, Laci had told my brother, like, hey, don't talk to Randi about the breakup or anything. Just don't talk to her right now, because she just really wants time by herself and she doesn't want to talk about it. So he thinks I don't want to talk to him, and I'm not allowed to talk to him. Just we're not that way. We're best friends and we tell each other everything. You know what I mean? And so that was a really hard season. And here's the thing too, is throughout probation, when the road team was home, and I know this now because being out, I've talked to the other leaders that were part of there, but Laci would have meetings about me and say like, hey, Randi is she's this and this and this and this. There was like a whole week where I got pulled into a meeting with a different girl leader like every day about something that happened like years ago. It was like, hey, remember when you did this? And then they would rebuke me for it. And I was like, that's like been done. That happened like my first year. But basically it was just like a big bash. Like, what can we get on Randi? And what's the dirt we can get? And I just didn't understand it, because I was like, I already just want to die. I don't want to live. And then they're like coming in and just bringing up stuff that's already been in the past. And So that's kind of how it was during my whole probation.